Amazing audience, we are live on Red Rocks, right, again. So we left, we came back, right, to have a conversation with this amazing gentleman, Gordon Hudelson. Gordon, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you.
Wow, you have a strong handshake. Wow. So, I mean, do tell us, which of your talents is responsible for us connecting at this time?
My background in residential architecture is how I met Anastasia and how she and I had an initial conversation, and that's pretty much led to lots of other conversations with individuals such as yourself.
And you know, but she's definitely a connector, right?
Absolutely.
Residential architecture, explain that.
So I spent 22 and a half years working for an architecture firm in Boulder, Colorado.
Right.
During that time frame, we created something called Edgeless House, which is about bringing nature into the house.
Ooh,
So while you're inside, you feel like you're outside. Creating connected spaces so families can interact more together as opposed to everybody going to their own separate spaces, and just kind of creating an overall environment in the home that makes people want to be there 24/7.
What does that look like? Is it like flowers and plants, or
Materials that are outside materials a lot of times come inside as well. So if you have a glass wall and your flooring material is the same inside that glass wall as it is outside, your eye tends to travel through that glass wall to the exterior, which makes that space feel larger, but also makes you feel like you're literally outside even though you're within the comfort of your home.
wow? Where can I see homes like this?
My website
Tell me more.
is HudelsonInnovations.com. So HUDELSON innovations.com.
Wonderful. So that is like your main primary job, right?
It is. My goal with that, I started my own company in 2016. So my goal with this is to not only spread the word about edgeless design and edgeless architecture, but also to share what it is about that with other people, other designers. So architecture is a field that you have mentors and you tend to design like the mentors that taught you.
Right.
And so I kind of feel that it's my duty to pass on what I've learned from my mentor, which he learned from his mentor, which he learned from his mentor. And so I feel like I'm a fifth or sixth generation
That's intriguing.
designer, and I don't want it to stop with me.
Yeah, that's intriguing because we had one guy on earlier on, and he spoke about like his business is fourth gen, right? And it was just interesting to see. Oh, you know him,
Jim.
There we go. Yeah. So he spoke
Great
about.
guy.
Yeah, he is a great guy. But he spoke about the first, the second, the third, and the fourth generation, and to see you have that legacy model today is intriguing, right?
Right.
So you're doing that. Who did you learn? So there's something that I find pretty intriguing in what you do, which is as much as they are mentors and you've learned from them, you're still edgeless, if you would, right? In that you've created an entire new model technically, yeah? Something from the norm. Is that accurate?
Correct. I feel, other than me personally, what makes me special as a designer is that knowledge that I gained over my experience in dealing with edgeless architecture. There's elements of what edgeless architecture is that other designers are doing, but I don't think they're all doing it to the extent or with the same intent that I have behind edgeless.
That's great. So where did you learn that from, the ability to step out in your uniqueness boldly?
It's something that I'm becoming more and more comfortable with, but it is something that I, as an employee for so long, I didn't really have outside connections. I was in my cube doing my job for 22 and a half, 23 years. When starting my own company, the first thing I realized is I can't just say I'm open for business and I'm going to have people flock to me.
Yeah, unfortunately, it doesn't work like
It does
that.
not work that way. So, one of the first things I did was joined a networking group, and that networking group just was 35 people that we were all connected as a family. I didn't get a whole lot of business out of that, but what I got was really strong personal relationships and a growth that was exponential in a short period of time.
Yeah.
That led me to another larger group, which is a business boot camp, 3-day business mastery boot camp that happens twice a year.
Right.
And I've told them they will have to ask me not to return for me not to show up, because again, it's a room with 100 people in it.
What's the name of it?
It's Gary Barnes Business Mastery Boot Camp.
All right,
It's actually happening this weekend here in Denver.
Really?
So I'm super excited to be
Yeah.
back with that group and get another 3.5 days of real valuable personal development, personal growth, and business skills. So
That's great. What's one other thing you've done consistently over the last 3 years?
one other thing I have done consistently over the last 3 years, really nothing. But the last year has been just a real uphill kind of fun ride. I've been traveling more.
Yeah.
I've been able to get out and play some golf every once in a while. Like I said, I got to go to Boston.
Yeah.
You know, just doing things that are more in line with what makes me happy. And I find that keeps me recharged when it's time to get back to work.
Yeah, which is great, which is necessary, especially in what you're doing, right?
Exactly.
I would think so, right?
Absolutely. I have, one thing that I found difficult being a solopreneur is that I spend a lot of time on the phone during the day dealing with clients, dealing with contractors, dealing with whatever, and having to do the production on my own happens on nights and weekends. So
Yeah.
I do have a lot of long days, and I do need to get out and recharge every once in a while.
Yeah. It's amazing when you're doing the thing that's unique to you, how it charges you though while you're doing it. Like, I'm guessing other people wouldn't be able to do the time you do and what you do, right? But because of the fact that this is something that is definitely in connection with who you are, it helps, right?
Absolutely. When I was an employee, when 5:30, 6 o'clock in the evening rolled around, I was out of there, and now it's like sometimes I forget to eat dinner just because I'm so into what I'm doing, and you just forget.
Yeah, that's good. That's great. Yeah. Why would you suggest to someone that's listening that they do that? Like, find the thing that fuels them and then get into it.
Once you figure out what your passion is or what you're meant to do in this lifetime, it's no longer work. It's what drives you, what fuels you. You wake up in the morning excited to go do what you're set out to do, and at the end of the day, you feel a incredible sense of accomplishment for living your life during that time span, as opposed to just going through the motions.
Yeah, I love that. Love that. All right, let's switch gears for a moment now. Let me invite you into my time machine that is surrounded with beautiful, warm blue Caribbean water. What is your earliest childhood memory, Gordon?
My earliest childhood memory was being chased across a bridge by a bull snake.
A bull snake.
He seemed like he was 10 feet long.
How old were you?
I was still in diapers and just barely walking, so
Ouch. Why do you think that memory is so clear?
I think it was my first real fear, that was the first time I really in my life experienced true fear.
Can you connect that memory to who you are today?
Oh yeah, I'm still deathly afraid of snakes.
Yeah, me too.
I see them even on TV and I just cringe. So
Yeah.
It's something that I work on. If I come in contact with a snake, I lived on a farm for the last 8 years, and I had to deal with bull snakes, or they would get.
What do bull
guts.
snakes look like?
They look like rattlesnakes with just minor differences. Like their head shape is one of the main differences. So you have to be kind of close to one to recognize the difference in the head shape, which is not comfortable.
Yeah.
So,
would there be many snakes around here, like where we are?
yeah, and because of the rocks, this is more rattlesnake country than bull snake country, just because they like to get out and lay on the rocks and sun themselves.
Oh, sounds like fun.
Yeah, just stick to the path and everything should be okay. And if you hear it, turn and walk the other way.
Warning taken. I find it interesting, the connection of the memory with nature and the way you create spaces and the bridge that you're creating between spaces and what could be fearful, which is nature.
Right.
Amazing, right?
It is. I'd never thought of that.
Yeah, but it is fascinating that you're the guy that's the bridge between the space of inside and outside.
It is.
Yeah, but still being protected, right? Like, the rattlesnake could be outside of the edgeless space.
Could stay on the other side of the glass.
Exactly. If we fast forward to when you were 12 years old, what was your favorite song?
Probably Let's Go Crazy by Prince.
Yeah, I could feel that. Yeah. Not too crazy to go walking off the trail, but definitely.
I don't know why I like that song so much. It was a fun song.
Well, I'll tell you.
Kind of release, set yourself free kind of thing was what I got from it.
Edgeless, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It all connects. It all connects.
It does.
It does. All right, my friend, we've arrived at our destination, but before we get off of this time machine, there is a small declaration form, like customs office, right?
Sure.
Immigration. Are you ready for this, though?
Sure.
All right, yeah, he says yes. Have you chosen someone to pass on your skills to?
Have I chosen someone to pass on my skills to? No.
Are you married?
Recently divorced.
Do you have children?
No.
Do you believe in God?
Yes.
Do you have an inner circle of friends?
Yes.
Do you watch TV for more than 3 hours a day?
No.
How about 3 hours a week?
Yes.
What about screen time, the phone and or the computer? Is it more than 8 or less than 8 hours a day?
More.
If you had to share with us, Gordon, your own unique real statement, a statement that represents Gordon Hudelson, what would you say that is?
Live big and love big.
I love it. 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 Gordon, this is a great pleasure. Before you leave, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
Nothing. Thanks for the opportunity to join you up here. It's been a while since I've been to Red Rocks, and this was a great excuse to get up here.
I appreciate it.
And I thoroughly enjoyed the conversation.
That's wonderful. That is important. Gordon Hudelson, thank you for being on what is inspired by 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones.
Thank you for having me.
Boom.
Pretty easy.